Oh, well, well. We just finished this movie here. A movie. Story. I guess the reader in this I made a mistake is not H.P. Lovecraft. He somehow, I don't know if this was a real story or not. Like I say, this stuff is supposedly fictional. And this was a damn good story right here. I thought it was H.P. Lovecraft narrating it himself, but it was not. So you will, if you haven't already heard the whole story, you'll hear it at the end. Who reads it? I just forgot his name. But this guy and this author, like I did say and mention, he was a, you could say so, a very educated man. But I guess the death of his grandmother really put some trauma to him. So, I mean, he was probably in and out of school, like I said, and, you know, very distraught. Say so. Wikipedia has a thing about him. But what does very well hit me in this story is places in Vermont that are close to what I look into. And he does speak, I believe, of skinwalkers in this story. Go figure. But in the story, in this kind of what I say in my thoughts and theories now, how the aliens would, spark, the skinwalker's evil spirit. But in this story, the way I get it, and what it sounds like to me, is that energy that these aliens, and the guy does speak of aliens, especially taking over his friend here in Battleboro. West River does run through this Battleboro. And in the story, now, if this is true, the creatures came out of the river, or something happened with the creatures in the river. And he speaks of West River near Battleboro, where his friend that he trained to get to his house. And he speaks that when he got up in this area traveling by train, he noticed the West River, which I think it comes down here at least. And he started to get eerie feelings. They speak of a dark mountain. Now, I don't think it's the Green Mountain Forest or Green Mountain, but there is something in Battleboro, in this area, that there's a mountain that supposedly this friend's house was on. He refers to it as the Dark Mountain. What has really got my attention is that he's supposed to be his friend with these aliens. And the creatures he speaks of were tormenting him at first. And the story begins with, I don't know why, but there was a red line on my, like say when I was watching a movie, my red line was here, and I started at this point. And I don't know why could have sworn, I just don't know, that seemed very odd to me. Because I don't remember watching this. I might have came across to it, but I don't know. Very insane. But like I said, a new friend of mine I've been emailing with reposted this to me, and I went right on it immediately because he spoke of the skinwalkers in Vermont, and now I can see why he had sent it to me. Very distinctive stories this man has. But I do believe, and I feel within, deep and within, that this Lovewell, a Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, I want to say he might have seen something, and this story could have been damn true. And this friend of his he speaks of in here, like, writes letters back and forth or whatnot, and kept telling Lovecraft, if that's who the story was referring to, that he was getting attacked by these animals. He was killing dogs because these animals were tricking, or creatures, were tricking him. He was shooting through his house. He was going insane or whatnot, but he knew they were there. The townspeople, were just to try and get it in a brief, short version, that the townspeople weren't listening to him no more. So, don't get me wrong, living out in the middle of the woods, sometimes people would tend to lose their minds. But I don't think this was the case. I think Lovecraft might have experienced this, and that's why he wrote these stories. I'm thinking that he might have been in these situations, wrote them out, documented them in short stories. And because he wasn't a notable author, these could have been rightfully notes or stories that he wrote that, he encountered. Because these damn friggin' places that he speak of sound just like what I cover today. What I say about today. And what he speaks of in this story, it literally reminds me of what I find and look up today. So this guy, being born in the 1800s, by the 1930s, he was writing all this stuff. Died in, I think, I forget what the hell it was. But for all this to come out, and for all of this to be taken, it's just insane. What I've listened to in this audio book about this man right here. And, like I said, and he speaks of a black stone. Native Americans was in this story too. And some reason he speaks of some black stone. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to have to do a video of it tomorrow. I have a black stone that my father gave me, that he found digging up, I believe in either Air or Harvard, Massachusetts, because he had read books about places that Indians had lived. I've gotten most of the books. I have, I guess some of the books that I have say so, like The Great Powwow. There's another one I haven't even finished reading yet, but gives great detail of parts of Harvard and Air and Groton, Massachusetts. Is called the White Oak Friends. And it's about Native Americans throughout Air, Harvard, Groton. And he said it gives out distinctive places. I still have to read that book. Time is virtue, man, but it pissed me off. But this man here has revealed stuff that I have covered, stuff that I have looked up, and stuff that now I have, which is a black stone. He speaks of the dark mountains where these creatures emerge from, just like what I say about the mountains, like the green forest right here, with skinwalker sighting, alien sightings, abductions and disappearances, and the river with the creatures coming out of the river, just like what I have covered and found with the UFO sighting in Mass, where the people in the 60s, the river, alien ship came up out of the river. And he said in this story, that's what had happened in this story right here that he reads. The river. So, like I say, this is my mapping. Battleboro is a huge part of this story. And like I say, the black stone, I'm going to show that tomorrow in a video. I did take pictures of it and put it out. I forgot to do a video on that. I've been meaning to do it. Oh, and today I'll end it with this. Out of all this craziness that's been going on and going down with stuff like this coming up, wouldn't you know, my wife and 2 sons were sitting out here in the backyard. We were just doing a little fire today, burning some wood we need to get rid of. Wouldn't you know, the same goddamn owl that came about 2, 3, maybe 4 months ago visited this backyard again. It was sitting up in a big oak tree that we have in the back here. She said it flew in the yard next door where it flew the last time in my video. I showed where it flew. Then she said it flew in the backyard where I catch, where you see the fence in the backyard that I show of. And it sat in the tree. And she called me on the phone and told me it was up in the tree. As soon as I frickin' walked in this yard, that goddamn, I looked up in that tree. It wasn't even 2 seconds that I looked up in that tree and that damn thing flew out and across the street into another tree. He let me see him. He waited or something for me to get here, which was my belief, and then flew out into the next yard, into another tree, and from there, I don't know where, he just sat there. I think he just sat there for the remaining time. He could have flew a little way later on, but I wasn't looking and kept searching because it was just too far off. But he literally blew out of the tree as soon as I looked up. And I came to the fence I show in my yard in previous videos, and I looked up in this damn tree, and he flew right out as soon as he saw me looking up. So I don't know what this means, but that's insane. My wife and 2 sons saw it today for themselves. In a way, it looked like a huge friggin' hawk, but in another way, I think it might have been that goddamn owl again. Now, some say that's a sign of death, Native Americans, but I say it's a warning of death. But then again, there's articles that say that sometime that's good luck, and I ain't dead yet. So all of this, and then I found another video, mind you, talking about Wendigos. Oh, and this woman, listen to this. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to show you something right now. All about the Wendigo. Pretty much the goddamn friggin' skinwalkers, whatever you want to call it. Right here. This video right here. I can't play it. But for people who want to check it out, this person right here does her own article of it. Hang on a sec. I'll get you a picture of it. But you want to know what happens? This girl right here speaks of the Wendigo. And I'll tell you something right now. She goes on to say in this video, and I said it before, I'm dated, that the movie Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, when I did my movie review, I talk about how there's a skinwalker. They had this guy here put it as a Wendigo. Pretty much almost the same thing, an evil spirit. I think the Wendigo was made from Canada. Also, they call it a cannibalistic eaten animal creature that eats human flesh. I just call it another friggin' site for the white people to stay off the Native American land. And that's just the Canada version. But this woman right here says it. The guy in the movie that made Scary Stories, Stories to Tell in the Dark, the movie I did a review, said he didn't even look up on that. He made that creature from stories he heard as a kid. And it's true, it was a Wendigo, but I mean, I called it a skinwalker, but they're the same goddamn almost identical creature. Almost identical. So what I called in that movie before I even heard this video, and as you can see, this video came out August 28th, 2019. My video came out when I watched the movie. I speculated as a skinwalker right away. And this director did the movie, heard a story of it, and obviously he put it in his movie. But I bet you damn well that guy, he could have had a friggin' experience with it. And he, just like other people that don't want to tell, hang on a sec, their stories about this kind of stuff because they don't want people thinking they're crazy. Well, guess what? I think people are done holding it back, and that's why these things are coming out. There was a damn, on Cartoon Network, Cooper Gache. I can't even remember the name of it, but it's the Mexican skinwalker, which I think they're all the goddamn same, just in different cultures because they've copied other cultures and made it. Cooperache, or whatever you want to call it, was in a Cartoon Network friggin' thing today. And in this one, she shows another cartoon that has it in it. So 2 cartoons speaking of the skinwalker, shapeshifters. That's right, it's coming about. Till that next video, be safe, take care, and you all better believe. Because they're coming, and I'm summoning too. I'm going to find my skinwalker, baby. They're getting ready to be shown and known, and I'm going to be there to catch them. That's right, out.